Hello and welcome to Tabletop 24. I'm Alan.
I'm John.
I'm Brian.
And welcome to another episode of We'll Play Again, where we take a look at games that we've played with a focus on how soon we'll be getting them back to the table. And with an ever-increasing collection, sometimes time can be precious, so would we play again? Today we have Mob Big Apple from TGG Games. First thing to say, and there is three of us, but this is a two-player game, and we've all had a go at it. So a little bit out of the ordinary for us, because obviously we normally play the larger player count games, but it's one that I got hold of from Kickstarter and I've quite enjoyed and wanted to share it with everybody. And one thing obviously to say with it being a Kickstarter game is there are a few extras and a few niceties in there. A lot of the components would be standard at retail, but there are extra things, and actually leading from that, the components are absolutely fantastic. You've got actual proper crates, you've got the wooden mobsters, and it's just really nice. It's a really nice production.
The gold looks lovely against the blue. It looks plush.
Yeah, nice thick boards, sort of play boards.
Yeah, and the chips are of good quality as well. And I think it's just an outstanding quality. It's just all the extras for such a small game as well. It's there. But gameplay wise, Brian.
So I liked it. It's very tight. So you've got a limited amount of henchmen, essentially. You have to roll the dice, and there's a bit of a strange thing where you have to cross the dice across. So that could be like 3 lobsters on the black 1 or 1 lobster on the white 3. So it's a bit of choice of where you place them. Everyone starts off with 20 henchmen, and when we played it, all the times we played it, we've been within 1 or 2 points of each other, maybe even tied, and had to come down to the tiebreaker. Yeah. So it runs really really well, I think, and you've got to be on your game to make sure that you keep them up with everybody else.
Yes, it's played over 3 rounds, and you get 20 henchmen each round, so you're deploying them out. Ones that are deployed in the areas stay out, and every turn you place them, and then you can optionally choose to do an action over on the on the extra board, which will cost you work as well, henchmen to do that. But the other key factor that is in this game is these chips. Now you'll notice obviously these are face down. This is obviously mid-game. These all have numbers on the back of them. They are ranging from 1 to 3, so you can get 2 copies of each, and you'll place them out at the very beginning of the game. And for the most of the game, they are hidden. There are actions that can reveal them, but they will essentially, at the end of the game, add to your pool of henchmen and could potentially win you the game. So the actual tension of which ones you've placed where, and you can move them, so it's not just a gamble. You can change your strategy mid-game. You can go, okay, well, I've got a 3 here, but I'm winning that spot. I'm going to move that 3 to a spot I might not be winning, and actually that's really nice, and it's very different with that. And there's a lot of types sort of hidden resources, but I find it very rare that you'll see hidden and open resources like in such a way that actually it's the same resource. So for instance, here we've got one henchman there. There's another 2 that would be adding to that. So actually it's a combination, and it's not a different resource. It's not something that it adds a different component to the game or a different mechanic. It is the same thing. So it just strengthens your position. So it's quite simple in that point.
Yeah. You mentioned there the dice and the strategy, and the question that we've been debating when we've been playing this: is there enough luck in the dice rolls to mitigate the strategies that you're pulling out, or enough strategy in it to mitigate the dice rolls that you're having to deal with? I like games where there's an element of like Catan, where you're rolling that dice just for that random factor where it's not just pure strategy. I like the thrown in luck of something being in there.
Yeah.
But it's whether or not I think there's both. It's that balance. I think they found it perfectly between the two. I think it works really, really well. The strategy you're pulling out to try and get these, and your hidden rolls, and potentially moving them, doubling them up, and the dice rolls. I think it's a perfectly balanced little game.
The only time that gets tight is when you run out of henchmen. You've only got like 3 or 4 left. Yes, you're forced to put 2 or 3 on the board, and you can't then use the DA track. But it's 3 rounds. You know it's coming. You know to optimize your play towards the beginning of the round. So again, I think it does work. I think it does give it a bit of tension at the end, which is nice.
Yeah, and you get into the end of that round, you're like, oh, actually, I really need to do this. But then you roll two threes, and you've got to then deploy. So you must deploy before taking an optional action over here. And if you're later on in the round, the likelihood is the cheaper action spaces over here are already taken. So actually, you could then find yourself really limited. Or you know for a fact that actually you can't take any more over here, so you're going to be throwing resources over here. Now, it's not a negative in the sense of you're still going to get control and you're still adding to the fight, but having the extra ability to do a move and a drive or swapping your mole tokens over and moving crates and stuff, it can sort of give you the benefit. And moving the DA track, obviously, especially towards the end of the round, because whichever side it's on, essentially the player gets penalised.
And breaks the tie as well. The couple times we played it's been 11 and it's been the DA or whatever. But, it's... the you're saying about having the resources left at the end, there's a couple of times I rolled a 1 and a 3, and rather than the 3 on the black one would have benefited me more, but I need to move there, so I've had to go with the 1 on the white 3 just to do that. But the balance is perfect.
What I liked, it is an area control game, but if you see an area being you're losing the area completely, you can move what's in that area by moving crates out of the area somewhere that's better for you. So you make the area useless, but once you've got people committed in there, you can't move them again. So you can really mess people up a little bit. They commit them to you. So that's a nice little touch, I think. So you're not losing it forever, because you can always swing the way the game works.
Yeah,
I'd like to see how they can be done as a higher player count. I think there must be a way to do this game to rework this game slightly so that you can have 4 players without just having teams. So I think there's a lot of good game in here. It seems a pity to waste it on 2 players, if you like.
Yeah, I think you could possibly potentially scale it up in bigger fights, and I think the only mechanic there that you'd really struggle with is at the end of each round, you essentially mitigate numbers. So if you had 2 versus 1, both of you lose 1.
Yeah.
Whereas in a 3-way or 3 or 4-way tie.
Our previous video, see the video for 9 Worlds, that's pretty much how that works. If you've got 4 people battling for a thing, you all move one and whoever's left in. So that's kind of
could still work.
It could work.
Yeah.
It could work. I'd like to see it scaled up to 4 or more players. I think it would work fine. I think like you say, there's a lot of game in this.
Yeah. And I think it's a fairly shortish game.
Yeah, for a 2-player game, half an hour. Like I say, it doesn't overstay its welcome. And if there's just 2 of you on a games night, you could play this 3 or 4 times without problem, without getting bored of it. I think it's a great length. Yeah. I think like I say, the balance of it is spot on. It's
really nice. So then, John, would you play again?
If it was on the table and there was 2 of us in a game night, I would say would play again now, because of the setup time and the teardown time is very quick. You could just knock out 3 or 4 games of this quite easily. So if it's on the table, it's worth repeated plays for what it is. Fantastic. So if it wasn't on the table, it probably would play soon, because we might have a bigger player count, and would we be in the instance where there's 2 players? So it's when it would be applicable to be played. I think my answer varies for that, so you'll have to change the thing at the bottom.
Assuming that all else is equal, I play it again soon. I played it, I think, 3 times now, and I've really enjoyed it, and I think there's more legs in this for me. I'd like to play it again. Yeah.
Cool. And for me, it's would play again. And the only reason for that, and John's already sort of alluded to, is it's a 2-player game. Most of the time, I'm in a position to play a game. Either I'm playing it solo or I'm playing it in a wider, bigger group. So for a 2-player game, it's really good. If we were in a position where there was only ever 2 of us, it would probably be one of the games that I'd bring out. And it sort of sits there, and it's a very simple teach. There's a lot of mechanic in there to try and help it out, but it is as simple as roll dice, place workers. Do you want to do an extra action?
Yeah.
At the end, majority win.
It depends on your playing partner as well on that level. If you can handle things like Jaipur and other games, again, see another video about Jaipur. If you can handle that, you can play it. You don't mean it's not an immediate 2-player game that you just want to teach somebody. I think
Yeah.
It's a step on from that, but it's a fine game.
Yeah. It's good after the game, I think, for a couple.
Yeah. So obviously that is our Wood Play game for Mob the Big Apple. If you haven't done so already, check out our other videos on the channel, give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.